Okay, well, hello and welcome everybody. This is the Urban Spectrum Theater Company. This is our last and final focus group that we have kind of put together for this grant season. So thank you all for being here. I am Penny Masuku, the Artistic Director of the Urban Spectrum Theater Company.
And I'm Judy Cooper Lyle. Excuse me, I'm the founder and I'm going to be the producer for the next year while Penny moves into the Artistic Director role. And I founded it 52 years ago. So I've seen a lot of changes.
I'm Michael Belcito, and I am the new music director for Urban Spectrum Theater Company.
I'm Dominique Serrand, and I have had several theater companies, and now I'm running as an independent artist.
Winnie McGreevy, they, them, she, her, a local artist, food industry worker, and happy to be here.
Okay, so just to kind of follow up on what we've done in the last focus groups, I'll just kind of go over the questions that we had and what the consensus was, and if we still kind of feel the same about it. So the first was like what things go into consideration when intending a show. We said length, venue, parking. What are those things that you consider? The general consensus was pricing and location. Do you still feel that's kind of?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. I also had mentioned what methods work best in terms of marketing yourself. And the general consensus there too was social media is everything nowadays. We can't really do much without social media. And then I said, surprisingly, most people voted on physical posters and flyers. So we're still kind of keeping it old school, but just having that visual out there. Anything different that has worked for you?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely who you know, especially when it comes to these community shows too. How about for you? Because I know you make all your own marketing things.
I would say, typically for music shows specifically, I feel like each act sort of tries to bring 10 to 20 people minimum, so that everybody's bringing somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose it's different depending on, but word of mouth works. Texting your friends.
Absolutely.
Social media is usually the best place to get it to everybody.
Definitely, yeah, I agree. And then I had mentioned any resources or tools that you wish were more accessible. And many of us agreed that we're missing an entire audience because of accessibility, wheelchair access, ASL interpreters for the hearing impaired. Do you agree? Are there other things that we're missing as far as resources or tools?
This was as a concert goer?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I think accessibility is probably the biggest one still.
I honestly think part of me wants to say that we're missing the younger crowd for all ages shows, because I know there's a lot of 21 plus venues here, bars, but also I think what I've noticed, especially when it's warmer, is that the house venues are really popular, and that's where you get a lot of people that aren't necessarily 21 but are really important to the scene.
What do you mean by house venues?
Oh, somebody agrees with their roommates that they think it's a good idea to throw some shows, and then suddenly they're an established venue.
And so just a big house party.
It's like a big house party.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's and they're really fun, but I think that you need really strong house venues in any scene, because it keeps younger generations growing into these 21 plus venues that aren't accessible to them.
That's a
really good point.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
theater.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know any theater that's 21 plus. So that's
Well, I think that's the thing
good,
too,
yeah.
though, because then how do you attract just younger audiences in general for theater productions, Because I feel like a lot of people think theater is for just one certain kind of person, so we miss a whole group of people who just think that you need to be a thespian to go and see a theater production.
right.
So, yeah, I mean, I think just attracting those younger crowds too is a huge deal. Okay, I love that. we also talked about how do you approach collaborative projects? Like, what are the pros and the cons? There were different variations that all pretty much led to surrounding yourself with trustworthy people who share the same intentions. And I think that just kind of speaks for itself. But is there anything that you've seen here in this community that works best when it comes to collaborating with other artists, or maybe other just companies or venues, what have you?
Well, as somebody who actually has it's kind of like a multimedia show coming up at a little theater called Phoenix Theater.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm in a 2-piece that's doing a musical set in between these short, like 10 to 15 minute plays. So it's like 3 plays to open, and then we're going to play a set, and then 3 plays to close. And I think that's really cool because you can get different demographics of people. Some who are like, oh, I really want to listen to music, and maybe they don't go to a lot of plays or musicals or shorts, but they'll go to this. And so that's a cool way to.
Yeah. Now, how did you
mix
go
it up.
about collaborating with all the moving parts?
So word of mouth. So
Okay.
we had a friend, we played a show at Mortimer's, the beloved bar.
Yeah.
And
It's our home.
classic, yeah. And a couple friends saw us play, and one of them is like a theater director, short writer, and they really liked our stuff, told their friend about it, who in turn with a group of their friends was renting Phoenix Theater for a
Okay.
week. Then they came to us and they were like, hey, we're seeking bands to do cool, weird music in between plays. So it's kind of like, it pays to not only chat with people after your show, but also to like be super nice and just keep an
Yeah.
open mind.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think also keeping an open mind is probably the most important thing, because we have never worked with Phoenix Theater or people in this group.
Sure.
But if it goes well, then definitely want to continue doing that.
Right. Okay, that's awesome.
Networking works in almost any profession.
Yeah.
But big in theater.
Definitely.
How so?
Just because you're talking to people who do the same thing as you, but not really. And so you're getting different perspective from, especially if you're going to do a show like we are going to do next year, that's going to involve dance, music, visual arts, maybe jugglers.
Mhm.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, networking is definitely the way to go. Any cons as far as like collaborating with other artists, and is there anything specific that you've seen in this scene that you would advise others to maybe not do or just like stay away from?
I'd say one thing about that, which is I think there's a lot of really musically inclined, artistically inclined people who want to be a part of a music scene, and they start by collaboration, and that's how they learn. But I think sometimes it can just be wary that it could be a little bit of like a roadblock if you don't pursue it on your own as well. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people rely on the collaboration as like their inspiration to do it instead of doing the work on their own.
That's true.
I've fallen into that.
Yeah,
Is why I feel that way. Like,
that's fair.
spent years and years at the studio jamming with people, planning things out, but for none of it to like really come fully to fruition, because it's a lot harder to manage a lot of people. So I think there's
That's fair.
you have more value in collaboration if you're willing to pursue it as an individual.
Yeah. All the pieces need to be moving cohesively for sure. No, I agree. Okay, and then what do we want to see more or less of? And we, we mentioned more queer-friendly spaces, less toxicity. I'm just gonna assume that's just generally. And then more community-focused events. I still agree with all of that. Anything else you could think of that you'd want to see more or less of?
More shows.
Yeah, just in
We
general,
need more venues.
more venues.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yes.
I also think, I know that there's a different group of artist performers called TCUP, here in the Twin Cities. I think it's like Twin Cities United Performers. I'm not sure, but they were just having a conversation about how during the like height of the ICE occupation here, ICE is still here obviously, but all of the, or like a vast majority of local acts were giving 100% of proceeds through benefit shows, which was like so awesome.
Right.
But it was also really hard to see, like, as a local musician who relies on money I bring in through shows to do recording and merchandise
Right.
and like outreach for my own projects, it's hard to see like really, really big acts or bigger entities like not step up because yes, there's a lot of good that the DIY and like local music scene can do, but it's also like not enough.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be really cool to see some larger entities like step forward or just keep something consistent.
No, I agree.
And
does-
and
Sorry.
I'm sorry, that also corresponds to venues. I've always thought, because I'm totally community and community theater and working for the inner city, I've always thought that larger venues, excuse me, could help out or give a hand to smaller production companies, but they don't.
Well, one of the biggest problems is that the biggest venues are all in deficit.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So if they're not doing well, we're not doing well,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's true.
We pride ourselves in never being in deficit. We only spend money we have,
That's
right?
true.
In
That's the way.
52 years, we've never been in debt.
Wow.
Good for you. I mean, if you look, for instance, it's a good example. The Guthrie has this theater upstairs. That's what, 400 seats, and it's closed.
Yeah.
It's not open,
And that's just tragic, isn't it?
but they can't open.
Right.
So it's spaces cost money, and a big money actually. So as long as we continue existing on the idea of donations from corporations which are disappearing and foundations which are also disappearing. When I first came to this country, there were 33 foundations in Minnesota alone. There were only 3 today. So the funding system has to exist. We have to find a way to somehow collaborate so that we get funding together as a society of artists.
We've talked about that too.
We
Yeah.
need to.
Yeah.
So
That's hard. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is all really good information. So kind of just to wrap it up, well, maybe not wrap it up, but just to kind of move things forward, what would you like to see from the venues moving forward? Is there something feasible that we can do just as the little people to like maybe entice these venues or light a fire up their asses or like what steps can we take, to kind of push these places to be more accessible for everybody?
my recommendation was to push to go directly to Congress and to say you have to help the artistic venues bring in artists and bring in audiences, which we don't do.
Right.
Like all the young people who can't afford tickets,
Right.
if they're not subsidized in some way, we can't do it. But then they can't afford it. So that requires, I think, a statewide
Yeah.
I agree.
pressure, but we need to do it all together at once.
Yeah. That sounds like a feat.
Yeah.
It sounds like a task.
I
But
think it almost seems kind of like making venues more accessible, but almost more fiscally. And that could apply across too. I mean, yeah, honestly, the idea of people would go to more shows if they didn't have to spend $40 on a ticket. I think if I want to go see a band I grew up listening to at like a medium to big venue, it's sometimes $70, or sometimes hundreds of dollars at the big venues.
Sometimes thousands.
And it used to
Yeah.
be like 20 or something. Like, yeah, it's definitely just another, I suppose, part of capitalism and how it affects the arts.
Try to get a ticket for Taylor Swift.
Good luck. Good
If
luck.
you so desire. Yep. Well, we have a good organization in Minnesota called Minnesota Citizens for the Arts. And maybe that needs to become stronger. We have a membership in it, but actually, we as a company have not done much with Citizens for the Arts. So that would be a good place to start.
Yeah.
I guess it really does have to come down to people like us doing something.
It
Gotta
does.
apply the pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
For
does.
sure. Yeah, there's a lot of work to do, but I mean, it's doable is the thing. It's doable. It's just a lot of steps to get there.
Well, look at the 100,000 people that are going
True.
to be at the Capitol.
Very
today.
true. And that kind of
No
just,
Kings rally. Yeah.
all of that just kind of piggybacked on my last question, which what can we do as artists to support one another? And these collectives that we're talking about, and just kind of applying pressure. And is there like a better way for all of us just to support each other just as smaller groups? Or how do we move forward doing that? Like, will that start a movement in
I think
itself?
it could, yeah.
Collaborations and collectives can work really well.
Yeah.
And even like the language we use when interacting with other artists and with each other, like, can have a ripple effect. I think like there's a bit of a like dog eat dog mentality,
Oh, there it is.
and that needs to change with us, and then the way we support other artists who have shows, even if we don't and we want one or something, help promote things, help get people engaged so that we're all more engaged together.
Why do you think it's so dog eat dog? Because like we were saying, this theater community in this city is very cliquey.
It's a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
You said a scarcity
I
mindset?
think there's a scarcity mindset for sure.
Okay.
And there doesn't have to be one because but I think that there's this fear of like, oh, this band is getting this show that I want. I'm speaking as obviously an artist in a band, and less of a thespian. But it's like, oh, this band that I admire, my age group, my genre, whatever, they have this show at this venue, and I tried to reach out to this venue, and they like ghosted me or whatever. And I feel like there's just this like competitiveness that doesn't actually have to be there.
Yeah.
I recently had a conversation with a local like producer masterer in the scene, and he said something that stuck with me where he was like, when you're building this network, which we've spoken on, you are casting a net for people and friends that you believe in. And as you grow as an artist in your net, everyone's moving forward too. So it's not like if you are leaving someone behind like that, it's just not it's not the best way to cast your net.
Right.
We all move forward as one community and collective. But I do think that there is a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, and one thing that our company has always been strong on too is more experienced and older, for lack of a better word, performers kind of giving a hand up to up and coming performers. So the younger ones are learning from the more experienced. We've done that always.
Yeah.
And not everybody does that. And I love to see different ages working together because we can all learn from each other. I mean, talking to you young people, it's great. I'm hearing stuff I haven't heard before, and I love that. I like working with young people, and that's really important.
Yeah.
We stand for our diversity, not only age-wise, race-wise, everything within our company. And probably that's why we've been around so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's just hard to even kind of get a good grasp on this whole like scarcity mindset and the competitiveness because we're all doing the same thing, right?
Exactly.
So,
I would say that's probably especially pervasive in the music scene, which is why we're kind of. I can't really speak to the theater scene. You know
oh
what I
no,
mean?
there's the cliques over here, and you know,
Yeah.
and
I assume.
those who will just shut their doors for you, and they don't want anything to do with you because they've already been established in this setting or what have you, and
Yeah.
there's just no space or
And
energy, you know.
I suppose if there were more venues, if they were more affordable, there would be more shows, there would be less of a scarcity mindset, but it still comes down to like, I don't know. It's kind of like a cycle, I suppose.
Yeah. It's just like, where's the love? And like, where's the open arms? And come here, you can use this space. You can do whatever you want, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what we want to see moving forward is just the accessibility to not have to pull our hair out looking for a venue because it is a problem. So this has all been really good information. I appreciate
Maybe
it.
more DIY venues, just make it happen.
I mean, if it comes down to it, we're not above performing in parks. You know?
That's how we started.
Yeah. Well, you know what is really cool is that there's a spot in St. Paul, beloved White Squirrel.
Oh yeah.
And every band in the Twin Cities has played there because they do music every night, sometimes twice a night, like
Oh,
an early
yeah.
show and a late show. And it's so easy to book a show there. And that is a venue that is like one where it's so needed.
Yeah.
Because these bands who have formed, maybe they're young, maybe they're in like their mid 40s or mid 50s, whatever. But they want to play a show really bad and they don't have a ton of experience doing that. But they have this venue that like has a built-in crowd because it's a neighborhood bar
Right.
in a walkable part of St. Paul. And you get to play for your friends and have
Yeah.
drinks and there's a nice patio. Those are the types of spaces I think as a musician I'm like, oh my God, I'd
Yeah.
love to see that. Because
It's
it's easy to get in there.
it's a small venue and it still gets people to come to St. Paul.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
from all the way over wherever
Right.
people
Yeah, yeah.
will go to St. Paul.
Way over to St. Paul.
I mean, seriously, it's
It's a
like
long 8 miles.
hey, it's like yeah. Some people really don't want to leave the city. For some
I'm one of those people. Like,
Yeah.
if I don't have to cross the river, I
I
won't.
know, as long as I've lived here, which is over 50 years, I still view going to St. Paul. Oh, it's in St. Paul.
It's a trip.
Yeah.
You gotta
That's where I
plan your
grew
whole
up.
day. You gotta plan your whole
all the
day.
way over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, have you seen differences? Like, do you perform in St. Paul often?
Yeah, actually. What differences?
Well, just in, I guess, like audiences and like it feels like a whole other world over there, but it probably obviously isn't.
I
But
feel like at spaces like the Squirrel, it feels like it's very popular for people in their like early 30s, I think.
Mhm.
Like young homeowners around that area
Oh, sure, sure.
who want to go out. But also, we recently played a show at the White Squirrel, and it was like the 5th show we played there in this band that I'm in. And it was really cool because a lot of people who had seen us before at the Squirrel came back because they were like,
Yeah.
we really liked you guys last time. We
Mhm.
want to see you again. And it's free. That is something that I did not mention about the White Squirrel
True.
is that there is no entry fee.
Ever.
And they pay you like there's a donation bucket which often gets filled pretty big.
Mhm.
And also they pay you like over $100 every night on top of that with drink tickets.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking, but it's like so cool.
They have a
that-
Sprite.
Yeah.
yeah, right. But it's just like
What's their incentive?
their incentive
It's
is
just to stay busy.
they know that they have a built-in crowd,
Mhm.
so I think that they want to lift up these musicians, but also their patrons are used to having music every night.
It's
Yeah.
like
Smart
331
people.
in that way, where
Totally.
it's a neighborhood spot, free to get in.
Oh, 331 does
And
the
it-
same
well,
thing. Yeah.
I mean, I've done an album release show there without really trying to advertise it a ton, and just the natural crowd, like it was like 140 people, or like
Whoa.
120, whatever. I mean, it was just packed. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
This was years ago, and it's still like that.
Mhm.
So
Those neighborhood spots. Yeah.
Yeah, spaces like that. Free entry is huge.
Exactly.
It's huge.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I love all this information. I think we've got a lot to work with here. Just kind of figuring out as a company how we can just kind of tighten things up and do better for ourselves and what we can do moving forward to just kind of get more people in, and just securing venues and not having to struggle and worry about that. But it's always just a learning process. So.
Well, and I think MRAC was, I think we owe a lot to them because they recognized that we're going through changes, and we got this grant to help us through this year in tightening up. And Penny's just coming on, and it's new for her, and we're solidifying different job descriptions and being able to come and do these focus groups. And that's because MRAC believed in what we do.
Definitely. Yeah, so there's a lot of learning to do, especially as like a nonprofit and a small theater community, Because if we had the means like Guthrie and Penumbra and things like that, obviously we wouldn't be sitting here. Or maybe we would, but I think we just want to also reach as far as we can within this community, and just kind of touch everybody. So the more we can learn and just kind of absorb from all of you will make us a lot stronger too. So
You know what that makes me think of?
Mm.
Like, how many success stories do you hear of somebody like pushing their artistry or their photography, their acting career, their music, whatever it is, and they push it for years and nothing happens, but they don't stop and they keep doing it. And then eventually they hit their breakout role, or they find, a booker that's like, oh my gosh, I love what you're doing. And like somebody that takes them under their wing, and then suddenly the exposure is finally there that they're able to actually gain some traction. I think that's really an important part when you're putting something out, any artistic endeavor, visual, auditory, whatever it is, to make sure to continue to market yourself and push yourself, whether it's online or what have you, because even if you receive a lot of like mild reception, it doesn't mean that, okay, now I'm done doing that. Like
Right.
I released the album, or like I played the big show, and now it's like I can just like sit back and rest. Like, no, you keep
Still
going.
going.
Exactly.
No,
Keep
for sure.
like making things happen, networking and linking with people, or like just pushing yourself out there, because you
Right.
never know what opportunity is going to come your way.
Especially with what we've been doing in this grant season, we still wanted to stay relevant, which is why we did the little pop-ups, here and there, just to make sure the community still knew that we haven't gone anywhere, we haven't left. So we also have a pop-up April 30th at Mortimer's from 6:30 till, I want to say 10 o'clock. Michael is our new music director. So we've been working hard
Sweet.
getting this
We're trying.
set up. So let all your friends know,
Yeah.
April 30th,
What are you
Mortimer's.
displaying during the pop-up?
So it's a bit of a variety show. It's kind of like a cabaret theme. The next show that we are planning on doing in 2027 is kind of that Moulin Rouge cabaret-esque kind of a theme. So this is kind of an introduction to, or like a little tester teaser of what we want to do in the future. So we'll have some burlesque performers. We have a drag queen performing, a couple of vocalists. We'll have a house band. So
Cool.
it'll be a night of fun and variety of all kinds of stuff. So
April
Do we
30th.
have the juggler?
not yet.
Oh.
I'm waiting for an email back, but we might have a juggler and a fire
Christ.
breather. Yeah.
Oh.
We have to ask about the fire breather
Yeah,
for
fire
like
code.
inspection codes and stuff. But we'll have a mini circus, a miniature circus in there. So yeah, if you can come out, please do. It'll be great. You can kind of just see what we do. And those have been different for us too, because we were used to just like doing the major productions, and we've been kind of dabbling in these little pop-ups, which they've been a lot of fun, and we've learned a lot there too. But come spring or whatever of 2027, we'll be back full on the stage again, like with the bells and whistles.
And we've done some things with Todd working with us online too. That was fun. It was different, and that kind of came about over COVID.
Yeah,
That kind of forced us to do something
just kind of
different.
finding different ways
Yeah.
Oh my
to
gosh, yeah.
get to folks, And I'm sure we all kind of went through the same thing over COVID, is how do we stay above water,
Right. My brother actually finished his theater degree during COVID.
Oh, wow.
When we were living together, and I
Oh,
remember
really?
he did multiple shows via, I don't know if it was Zoom, I think it might have been something more specific for the theater community, but it was all done online.
Wow.
And I think it was a really cool learning experience, but he definitely was like, I wish that this was in person.
Yeah. There's nothing like just like people, just an audience.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
the energy is always
exactly.
palpable.
You feed on that
Mhm.
energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's been so much influence on the artistic community that it's less of the city than it used to be 30 years ago. It was really strong. And unfortunately, it's for the reasons we all know, lack of money, lack of support, schools not going to see shows, lack of support from. I'll give you one example. In France, where I'm from originally, the schools get tickets to every event. As a result, by the time kids get to be 18, 20 years old, they go to all the events that they know because they've been exposed from the moment they were very young.
Right.
And I was just there this winter, and all the shows were sold out. Every single show was sold out. So that's a cultural long-term thing. And I think that's what we need to do. Develop a culture. I don't care what you see. I want to see everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And enjoy with my little knowledge of particular music or particular dance, but just go see. Be in the same room with other people and be surprised.
Right.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
But we have to have somebody help us do that together.
Mhm.
You.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think that does it for today. Thank you again for being here. I appreciate everything you've given us. We have some changes that we're working out, but it's all for the good. This has all been super beneficial. So our future is bright, and thanks to you.
Thank you.
Yes. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Your optimism